one is probably the best. Number nine, I think it is. And then Mind Over Body is something that I wrote.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Then, yeah, I definitely want to get to that. Okay, so let me just think. I mean, your Get Up, Get Out last time was pretty great. So why don't we start, and we didn't do the Tupac one last time, I don't think. So why don't we start there? Yeah, let's just do them kind of in the order you, gave them to me. Let me just, my computer just has to put them in the iTunes. Yeah. Alright, cool. And did you think you want to do 1 hour today or 2 hours? I know 2 hours.
You'll see when we get to like the Mind Over Body and the other stuff. We'll see if we can get 2 hours in.
Okay.
If it's worth our time, yeah, definitely. And if not, we'll end when we see that we've reached like a good amount of material, and then that I can like go back and do some more stuff on my own.
Okay, yeah. That's fine. Just let me know then, because I have to either like approve or I have to acknowledge the lesson on lesson phase. So we'll talk about it in a little bit though. So this is your first one. Oh, okay, and you named them with emotions. Thank you. That's helpful. So let's do this one.
Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Man, I should blast myself. Tired of being poor, even worse, I'm black. Stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull the trigger, kill a nigga, he's a hero. Give crack to the kids, who the hell cares? One less hungry mouth on the welfare. First ship 'em dope, let 'em deal to brothers. Give 'em guns, step back, watch 'em kill each other. It's time to fight back, that's what Huey said. 2 shots in the dark now, Huey's dead. I got love for my brother, but we can never go nowhere unless we share with each other. We gotta stop making changes. Learn to see me as a brother, instead of 2 different strangers. That's how it's supposed to be. How can the devil take a brother if he's so fucking close to me? I'd love to go back to when we played as kids, but things change. That's just the way it is.
Nice, man. I actually think that's really nice. I think you kind of said that, or maybe you said it about Get Up, Get Out, but that they got better as it went along. But I actually think that's really good. I think you started off a little. I used to think you started it off a little stiff, but then it was kind of more like, to me, it seemed like you did that on purpose, just so you could open it up more later on. Like your first few words, like I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself. They're kind of they were delivered in a pretty, not monotone, but just a pretty straight delivery, right?
Right. Worth living.
Right. I actually, it's something I've noticed that I've been doing also with my stuff, as well as mainly with Get Up, Get Out, is that I try to build like an arc into the verse.
Yeah, and that's what
I start off like.
Okay, good. Yeah, because that's really what we were trying to focus on with what do we look at? Not rigor mortis, the Talib Kweli verse, right? From Redefinition. So yeah, I'm glad, and I think you did and last time from Get Up, Get Out, what I'm really happy about was that you seem to have really put to use the idea of making your best ideas your best ideas. Like taking good ideas and turning them into great ones, which is important in any kind of music making. So if you remember, like with Get Up, Get Out, what we did was, in our last lesson, one of the things we did was we identified like the most important words and the most important moments. And because we need to do that in order to craft the arc that you're talking about, So what I thought was a really nice moment here was what you did on those lines. How you said, Huey said, and Huey's dead in the same voice. In the same kind of, your voice went up. You were like, it's time to fight back. That's what Huey said. 2 shots in the dark now. Huey's dead. And you did it with better rhythms, to more craft it in there. But no, that's exactly what we're looking for. And especially like that because I think it is one of the most. I'm really happy that you chose to bring out that specific moment because it's a specific moment in the song that often goes unnoticed. You know, who's he talking about? I think Huey Newton, the leader of the Black Panthers, right?
Actually, I'm not really sure, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the founder of the Black Panthers, and like Tupac, you know, Tupac's parents for a while were on the run from the FBI because they were in the Black Panthers. So this is one of those moments that you only realize how personal it is to Tupac and to rap listeners, kind of, if you bring that one out. You know, like, it's obvious how poignant I'm Tired of Being Poor and Even Worse I'm Black is, but how poignant Huey's Dead, that's a little, it's more subtle, and that makes it more memorable, you know, because everyone thinks of the Black Panthers, but a man, like, oh, they're violent, whatever, but a man was still killed, for what he believed in, you know. So, yeah, I really like that one. Let me think, and your ending is really nice, you know. I thought you would bring it down, your pitch, right? I thought you would say, but things change, and that's the way it is. Mainly because, well, that's what Tupac does, but also that's how most songs end, right? Like, their pitches fall down, and it's just that descending motion that lets us know the song is done. But what I liked about this was that it really fit well with the Huey Said verse, because you kind of brought out, you know, you called it depressed, and certainly it is depressed, but it's more like, you know, there are shades of emotion, so this is like a questioning depressed. Right.
There's a really, really great PDF. I'm going to send it to you now.
Yeah.
With a list of emotions, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's great. I'll just send it to you right now so that you'll have it. I tried going through a bunch of them. I just uploaded a few of the ones that I recorded. I did a bunch of recordings, right? Mm-hmm. This is great.
Oh, cool. And did you...
The getting the emotions onto the actual track to be heard through my voice, I know that's something I'm going to have to do a lot of work on.
Yeah, you know, I was going to say, like, you know, how to say this. Like, you're doing other people's words as well as you, almost as well as you can now, right? But now the idea is to find your voice, right? Like, you're to a certain extent, whenever you do someone else's rap lyrics like this, like I'm purposefully asking you to because it's good practice, the best you can do is just to imitate their voice, unless you find a song that, like, really just speaks to you, you know? And there are some like that for me. So, you know, Eminem, Airplanes Part 2. So, like, I literally could have written all those words. So when I do that song, you know, because I've done some recordings of it, when I do that song, then I'm like, wow, I'm not imitating Eminem. You know, this is my voice because I relate to the words so much. So what I like here, you know, like, we could go over smaller stuff, but at the end of the day, this is just practice for your own stuff, you know, because that's where we want to get, for you not to imitate these emotions, but for you to write the words that bring out these emotions without you even thinking about it. You know, do you get the kind of difference I'm going for?
Definitely. And you'll see that when we go over the Get Up, Get Out, because each time that I actually did a recording of it, then, like, more emotions, I felt the lyrics more.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
I felt them. And the moment that you feel it, then naturally the emotion came out, right?
Yeah.
And that's great. And you can see that with my stuff. I hope these are the two good recordings of my stuff, and if not, then maybe I could do it live for you later.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That sounds good. So let me go back to, let's move on to another, Tupac one in a second. But first, just to, like, bring it out, you know, because I should probably put my money where my mouth is. So this is that Eminem song I'm talking about. So this is the Eminem song that I'm talking about, and it would be good for you to find maybe a song like this where we know not only that the words are great, because that's true of Tupac, of Get Up, Get Out, you know, but also that the emotions are yours too, and that you're not even channeling emotions, right? You're feeling them because, and let me send you the lyrics then, because, you know, because people are like, oh, like to a certain degree, if you even have to think about your delivery, you have not written the right words. You know, like you know what a good rap delivery sounds like, right? You're even telling me right now, like, oh yeah, I wasn't feeling the words, but I thought it was good. I should also say your rhythmic interpretations are always pretty on point. You know where you place your notes, separate from the pitch and the emotion you feel. I really like how you manipulate it without the beat. Like there was a moment, let me go back real quick, where you expanded it unexpectedly a little early on time, I think.
I should blast myself.
On the word time.
Tired of being poor.
Right there.
Worse, I'm black. Stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snap.
Right there, that's a really great opening. Because, well, let me give you two quick guidelines and then we'll go from there. A really great place to start in writing your rap is at the end. You know, I've always been told this by any composition teacher, so whether you're writing a chord change, a song, or raps, start at the end and then work towards that, because that's what people are going to remember and it's the most important part. So I think whether you wrote, obviously you didn't write the line, but whether you came up with the pitch for your last line or not, your song comes off that way, that you build towards that final line, and that's really good. The other important thing, so that's like guideline one, is start at the end. But the other thing is to recognize what you have when you start any song. You know, before someone starts listening to a song, you have a blank canvas, and you can do whatever you want on the blank canvas. But within like 10 seconds of your song, you are quickly removing the options you have at your disposal. So that makes your opening part really important, because it decides what can happen after, right? So think of it like the first 10 seconds, anything can happen for all intents and purposes. But after that, things have to follow into a pattern. So that's why I love your opening, because you seem to recognize that at the opening it is a blank canvas. And you give me these really great, tortured, drawn-out rhythms. Like I'm tired of, I'm tired of being poor, and even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts. Like hurts. That's a great word. That's a great word in the opening, and you like nailed it. You know, I just want to be clear on that, because it's important to understand what we do well, just as well as much as what we do. So were you thinking about that, like drawing out the rhythm?
Yeah, I was thinking it's like hurts is like a really emotionally.
Yeah.
You know, it's right, that word. You can just put things into it however you want. It's like you said, man, that hurt. Or you said, it hurts. You know, it's like, it's two different things.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I was trying to go a little bit growlier also with my voice, like make it not smooth, more like, you know, like asphalt, like gravelly type voice, to make it just come out more.
Yeah, and I feel that, you know, and I even get it because when people's stomach hurts, their voice changes, you know? Like, they don't want to talk as much. They talk higher. Their voice is a little higher, and you did that too, you know? You weren't really like, my stomach hurts. You were like, my stomach hurts, you know? And I can imagine a child complaining, like, Mama, I want a sandwich, and she's like, sorry, Tupac, we don't have money to feed you. And so, and this is my whole point, right? Is that our emotions give rise to these musical phenomena. Because while we're talking about it, you know, so obviously it's great that you have the emotion to it, but what I love most is how you put in the music, and so you draw it out. So if like a fancy composer were to analyze that, it would be a tempo rubato, which just means the tempo is always changing, and then retardando, which means the tempo is slowing down, right? So,
Italian, right?
What's that?
That's Italian, I suppose, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So you kind of stacked it, right? Like, tired, here, let me break it down real quick.
Living. Man, I should blast myself. Tired of being poor, even worse, I'm black. Stomach hurts, so I'm looking.
Alright, when we listen to it again, I want you to listen to the words blast, tired, and hurts, okay? Because this is where you're like, this is what I love about it. This is your musical development. And musical development isn't just a catch-all for all of music, you know. Musical development is when you take one part of a music and you change it somehow in a way that's consistent. And those words are where your development happens. And the development is that On blast, you say it slightly longer. Tired, you say it even longer. And then hurts is the longest. And that's what makes it so nice.
Living? I ask myself, is life worth living? Man, I should blast myself. Tired of being poor, even worse, I'm black. Stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. Cops give a damn about a Negro.
So that's, and it's really nice because you didn't dwell on it. You didn't indulge yourself in it. You know, you weren't like, you weren't like, my stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. You didn't do this. Cops give a damn about a Negro. Because at that point, you're just beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you gotta, rap, it's like, you always have to show us how you had a great idea, you could have done more with it, and then but you got bored of it because you're so great, and then you moved on to the next one. You know, and that's really what Jean Grey's Ahead of the Game freestyle is about, right? She gives you a great rhyme, an amazing rhyme on Uma Thurman with Bruise and Hurt Them. Maybe we looked at this song a little bit. Uma Thurman, Bruise and Hurt.
Yeah, I just heard her Style Wars about an hour ago.
Oh, really? Yeah.
For the first time, I didn't
Star Wars is an even better example of what I'm talking about. I mean, it's the start of like here. I'll go through Star Wars real quick for you. It's like this, right?
The bleachers, rally girls, pep rally cheerleaders, sluts named Sally either.
Okay, so first off, she's giving you great imagery, right? Sluts named Sally either your brain dead or your veins pump nothing. You know, so first it's like great imagery.
Your brain dead or your veins pump nothing. If you ain't saying jeans, but the name ain't pumping, suckers brain ducking.
Then she kind of gives you great rhythms by stopping and starting so much. And then at the start of the second verse, you know, 666 soul with the gold wiffle bat that I hold and a sickle pole taped to my back fold. You know, it's like, then she gives you a great rhyme scheme. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, she just piles up great idea upon great idea. And the ideas are so great. As a listener, I hear the potential in them. But she's like, yeah, I know I'm that good. And then she moves on to the next one, right? So yeah, let's get back to your Tupac thing. My point about the Eminem one can wait for now. So I'm really interested. Let's do the Helpless one.
Tupac Shakur chain. I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Nah, should I blast myself? I'm tired of being poor, even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull the trigger, kill a nigga, he's a hero. Give the crack to the kids, who the hell cares? One less hungry mouth on the welfare. First ship them dope and let them deal to brothers. Give them gum, step back, watch them kill each other. It's time to fight back, that's what Huey said. 2 shots in the dark, now Huey's dead.
Yeah, let me pause this real. So first off, this is really good. Again, I think it has more potential in it than what it is now. But the thing is, remember, you know, we went over this a few lessons ago, but anything, and maybe you were just trying to imitate Tupac, so I'm not going to focus on it too much. But, like, unless you drop your R's at the end of your words in conversation, then don't do that in rap, you know? So, like, I would never say each other. So I would always say each other, you know? And it's not for any reason of race or class, it's just for authenticity. And so that you can start to so that you write your own lyrics, you know. And I know that in some of these you probably do have to drop the R in order to make something rhyme. But yeah, that's a small point, I guess. And then the other thing was, you know, let's go back to the beginning because I really like the pauses you take.
I got love for
and whereas on the last song, the angry one, you know, I think you really nailed your development. I think this one needs, just again, it never takes much. You know, that's a third guideline for you. It doesn't take much, but to bring out this development, you just have to make what I would want you to develop slightly more extreme. And those are the pauses in between your sentences. Okay, so I think you need, so for this one, if you were going to redo this one, not that you have to, I would take longer pauses in between the sentences. So let me just walk you through this kind of right now.
I see no changes. Wake up.
Right there. I already know. You know, and this is what I'm talking about. When you play a song, it's a blank canvas, and within the first 5 or 10 seconds, it becomes a painting, you know. I see no changes. The pause you take there is... It's like dropping a pile of bricks on my head. You know, for someone like me who knows rap as much as I do, how much I've heard it, how much I know changes, it hits me like a pile of bricks because I don't hear people take those pauses. You know, they just don't. First off, it's at the start of the song. Second, that's not how Tupac does it, and you know I'm always comparing you to a verse I've heard to Tupac. Yeah. A third, people normally can't because there are beats behind them that drag the music along. Fourth, it's not even the full, it's not the full bar, right? The full bar is, I see no changes, wake up in the morning and I ask myself, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And fifth, on top of that, it's not even really the full sentence, you know. You could put a period after changes and say, I see no changes, sentence. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, ... But so, this is why your pause hits me like a pile of bricks. So, this is what I'm saying when you have to follow what your own music is giving you. You know, people think music like, oh, you just show up and do whatever you want. But really, you have to follow what you're giving yourself. So, when you take that big pause, then I'm expecting you to have more pauses, right? And I would even do this... Yeah. Yeah, I would even do this pause a little longer, like, I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, right? Because it goes like this. I see no changes. Wake up in the morning. So you still drop the wake back on the beat. And you can still, you know, tempo rubato it by moving your beat around. But, and so that was a great moment. And you do capitalize on it a little bit, but not enough, I would say.
In the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living?
Longer pause. We need a longer pause here.
Man, should I blast myself? I'm tired of being poor, even worse, I'm black.
Longer pause there, right? Yeah, see, because this is what's so nice about it, is that people take pauses in between their sentences, but what you're doing is kind of putting pauses inside of the sentences, and it gives the rap this nice slanted rhythmic feel. Because eventually, what I would assume you do is that then you remove the pauses, and you put them at the end of the sentence, and then after that, you remove the pauses completely, right? So you go like, I see no changes. Pause. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Pause. Should I blast myself? I'm tired of being poor and even worse. Slight pause. I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. Normal pause. Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull the trigger, kill it. He's a hero. So now there's no pause. And then this is what I want you to play with. You know, this is just a...
Yeah, I get it. It's like taking an element of... I don't even know how to categorize this element. It's
music,
like a pause could be an element, higher pitch, lower pitch, or whatever. Taking an element and just playing with it throughout the song in a way that
is interesting.
Emphasizes what I feel that I want to emphasize in that.
Yeah, exactly. And so...
Pretty much, right?
Yeah, that's a good catch-all way of explaining it, you know. So it makes music sound really quite simple, right? But the trick is, that's what I've spent the past 10, 12 years doing. The trick is knowing what those elements are, knowing how to identify...
You're breaking up.
Hey, can you hear me? Hey. Good?
Good.
Yeah. So now, right, this is what I've spent the last 10, 12 years doing, is, you know, because that makes music sound simple, but really, it's hard, because you have to know what those elements are, how to put them in your music naturally, how to not overburden them, and what to do with them, right? So that is really what music, to me, should be about, is teaching that kind of how to develop, how to move from one idea to the next, you know? So again, I really like the Helpless, and again, there's other stuff, you know, that we could go over, like, some of your lines are a little flat.
Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull the trigger, kill a nigga, he's a hero.
Yeah, like that one. I would have gone, he's a hero, you know, you're kind of right there. I would have gone up, right? Like, pull the trigger, kill a, he's a hero? Like, make that a question mark, right? A question. because you've been following it up
Yeah.
with lots of questions. You know, Tupac, it starts off, is life worth living? One question. Should I blast myself? Another question. Pull the trigger, kill it. He's a hero? Question. Give the crack to the kids. Who the hell cares? Question, you know? So, and this is what you did so nicely on Get Up, Get Out, right? Is when you did those kind of 15, I still remember it. You know, you divided the 16 bars into 2 pairs of 7 plus 1 because you separated the final question, or the final line out, you know?
Right.
So those are the kind of things we're trying to do. So I really want to, okay, so it's 9:30 already, and I really want to get to Get Up, Get Out, and especially yours. Yeah, let's just, is that okay if we move on?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, yeah.
What other motions did I have? Let me just take a look at it. Maybe there was one that I did want you to just see.
There was Happy. I would love to know what Happy sounds like. There's one more Angry, and then there's Hurt twice. I don't know what that means. Or do you do it twice?
Yeah, I did 2 takes on 1 recording.
Oh, okay. Do you want to do any of these, or we're good?
Yeah, you can check it out. I'd just be interested to see what you think. I mean, it's great critique, so...
Okay, the Hurt one? The Hurt?
We could do the Hurt, or we could do Happy is interesting.
Okay.
Angry, too, is...
Let me check out the Hurt.
Tupac changes. Right. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? And should I blast myself? Tired of being poor, even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull the trigger, kill the nigga, he's a hero. That's some bullshit there.
Yeah, so this one, I like it for how daring you are, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like you kind of really fucking went for it. But I think a better approach here might have been for you to approach this like a spoken word one, almost, you know? Like, you ever seen,
Yeah.
So I want to play you 2 quick things. One is, do you know the song already, Def Jam, All Falls Down by Kanye? You know, it's got the Lauryn Hill sample on it, and we're gonna listen to the real song first, right? It's on College Dropout. You might recognize it. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So the interesting thing about this is that he did it 2 different ways. He did it as a song, but then he did it as a spoken word piece. So I just want us to hear the rap real quick of the song.
She's so self-conscious, she has no idea what she's doing in college. That major that she majored in don't make no money, but she won't drop out. Her parents will look at her funny. Now, tell me that ain't insecure.
Right? Pretty good stuff. And then he did it on Def Jam Poetry.
For Chicago, I don't... It's more I spend a lot of time like trying to like pick out my outfit because I'm like really into clothes. I'm gonna be the best dressed rapper out in the game. So you know, I got my I'm so self-conscious. That's why you always see me with at least one of my watches. Rollies and Porsches that drove me crazy. I can't even pronounce nothing. Pass that for Stacy. Then I spent $400 on this. Just to be like, nigga, you ain't up on this.
So you see how he's now doing it as a performance, right? It's a visual performance now, right? Because Kanye, he's acting. He's being an actor. He's acting out a side of Kanye that goes with the song, right? And this is what I would have suggested you to do on the one we just listened to, the Hurt Twice one. Because some of it, you know, is kind of a combination of the other ones we've already heard, the angry and the depressed. But if you were to make it its own thing, I would ask you to make it a spoken word performance like Kanye does, you know? Because he's like pretending to hyperventilate. He's like pretending to be nervous or whatever. And this is what I think would have been the best thing to do with yours. Because it's kind of something similar, right? You are also very stylizing your performance. You know, you're waiting so long to deliver your lines. You take really long pauses. Like, where's
serious, or even worse than black purse to snatch.
Like right before purse.
Purse to snatch. So I'm looking for a purse to snatch.
Yeah.
Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull the trigger, kill a nigga, he's a hero.
Right, so even right there, you know, because that's like what spoken word is. Like when your rhythms become that free, you know, because your rhythms here are freer than they were on the Angry one where you had that nice development. But when your rhythms are that free, then it's kind of like you got to go the full 9 yards, right? And imagine, go back, do it again, imagine that you're doing it how Kanye was for a performance. Because that will give your, the whole piece a kind of unity that's missing from it right now, right? Like right now, I'm kind of just like, well, why is he being so rhythmically free with lyrics that are really straightforward? You know, lyrics that are so poignant. Because you kind of either have to go one or the other, right? You know, when Talib Kweli was dropping his flow, he wasn't doing, like, a fucking breakdown of, like, police brutality, you know? He saves that for other songs. Instead, what he says was, we die hard like the battery thrown in the back of me by the Mad MC. You know, he's just boasting, right? So like, you gotta keep in mind how the audience is going to hear your words. And I think that's the really big takeaway from this performance. You got me?
So for me, yeah, I get you, but for me, it's like, I'm trying to think, how can I put, let's say, a helpless spin, or a depressed spin, or hex, or whatever like that, off a flow that actually goes more, I'd say, rhythmically, without pauses, and it's more along the lines of what you're used to hearing in hip-hop, such as, you know, how the song really goes. Right. It's like,
okay. Yeah.
Wake up in the morning and ask something. Right. So putting emotion into that type of a structure, that's really hard. I mean, that's what I need to work on, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I can do it, slow it down. It's more of a spoken word type thing, and then that, for me, it's easier to go more into that. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's its own thing. But it's a work in progress, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying these, you know, because, okay, yeah, because I guess for me, it's like, right, you can hear all of these spoken words. I mean, rappers, you know, I kind of think of it as like we're building up a toolbox for you, right? And we're trying to give you all of these tools, like a screwdriver, a wrench, a ruler, a measuring tape, whatever. So one of these is spoken word, you know, and that's how I look at it. I actually think that spoken word is a part of rap. Because it shows up in songs, like this is a Pharoah Monch. This is the very, one of the first songs from Pharoah Monch's debut album, you know. Come on, man, where, here we go. I'm gonna skip ahead to when he starts.
Your attention, please. What you're about to hear is undoubtedly the most incredible MC of the year. No, wait, no, please, no, wait, no, listen, no. All that I wish to do is to display a brand new rendition of style that I have. It only takes a moment of your time, 4 minutes. Then it will be beneficial when it is replenished. But then again, you might never return to the shit you hear it on.
You know, so there's that, or there's even Kendrick's real famous, This Dick Ain't Free, right? And so, when I talk to you about possibly doing it in spoken word, I'm more trying to give you one of these tools, you know, because to incorporate it into your rap. Because I actually don't know, I don't think it's its own separate thing, you know. I think it's like, look, you use ideas from spoken word in rap, and you use ideas from rap in spoken word because it's all hip-hop. It's kind of more how I think about it. So, you know, so it's like, yeah, sometimes you want to act out. And even rappers sometimes, you know, I don't have to see you visually to know if someone's acting. They could pretend, or like when Eminem writes out the letters to Stan, or when Stan writes back on Marshall Mathers LP2. So yeah, it's just a lot of stuff for you to think about right now. But that's kind of, also, it's like sometimes we should do these things in order to get a better understanding of what we want to do. And I guess even if you were to do it in spoken word, I think you would come away with ideas that were more normal rapping, like you say you want. You know, it would just help you really understand, because right now as a listener, I don't understand why you pause so long before purse. I don't understand why you say Negro. You know, it's like, if it was an artistic performance piece, then I would get it. I would kind of be like, oh, well, he's like deconstructing his words. But that's not what the verse is, right? So that's all. Because one of the most important things that we always try to talk about is, you know, you have to understand the song, not just how you understand it, but how your listeners are going to understand it. So as soon as I hear that moment where you draw it out,
damn it, about a knee, pull the trigger, about a knee, bro.
I'm trying to make sense of it, and I can't. Because it's just too, it's not reconciled. Like, they don't go together, you know. A super social, incisive song lyric with this really heightened performance, you know. But yeah. So try to think about that. So let's do the happy one real quick. Okay, yeah.
Changes. Happy, joyful, excited. Changes. I wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Should I blast myself? I'm tired of being poor, even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull the trigger, kill a nigga, he's a hero. Give crack to the kids, who the hell cares? One less hungry mouth on the welfare. First shipping dope, let him deal to brothers. Give him guns, step back, watch them kill each other. It's time to fight back, that's what Huey said. 2 shots in the dark, now Huey's dead. I got love for my brother.
Yeah, so that's really creative too. I actually don't really I hear it as an ironic happiness, you know, sarcastic happiness, which is to say not happy at all. And I think you could definitely go that route. That would be like it would be a mind trip, a mind fuck, you know, because emotional irony is really unknown in rap. I mean, there are ironic songs, obviously, there are parodies, there's satire, but emotional irony is really unknown because it's too close to inauthenticity, I think. And that's not what I'm saying you're doing. I think you would just need to kind of double down on it, right? So I think your best line here is...
He's a hero. Give crack to the kids, who the hell cares?
That's your best line. Because your best delivery. You're just... Because you get it perfectly, right? Like, if Tupac wasn't cynical... Or if Tupac was more cynical than he was, he would sound like that, right? He'd be like, yeah, give crack to the kids. Who the hell cares? You know, it would be really just like, fuck it. Doesn't matter. Give them guns. Step back. Watch them kill each other. You know, and that would be the kind of happy parentheses sort of. Yeah.
It's like quote unquote happy. It's like, all right, it's the situation. It is what it is.
Yeah, so you're moving, let's just do the angry one real quick, too, then.
Tupac,
okay, this...
Angry.
Oh, I think that's... The whole thing didn't send, it's just 4 seconds long.
Oh, I then probably didn't record
it's not, well. Okay, yeah, that's fine, then. I mean, you know, you're moving through this pretty quickly, and you're getting what I'm saying. And so now the next thing is kind of to find a song. I guess that could even be like your homework, to find a song that you feel you could have written. Because then we're working with your voice, right? Not approaching Tupac's voice or approaching CeeLo Green's voice.
Of course.
And so, I mean, there are a couple, and we could even do the Eminem. Let's get to the Get Up, Get Out ones, though, real quick. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, yeah, I'm going to go through these in order.
Going through them, or the last one is definitely the best from my point of view, but it might be interesting to just hear the progression also.
Okay, yeah. Maybe I'll go through the first 4 or 5 pretty quick, and then I do want to hear, if the ones towards the better are towards the end are better, then yeah, I want to focus on those. So let's just do these kind of quick.
Times is rough. My auntie got enough. Problems of her own, nigga. You're supposed to be girls. I agree, I try to be the man I'm supposed to be. But negativity is all you ever seem to see. I admit, I've done some dumb shit, and I'm probably gonna do some more. You shouldn't hold that against me, though.
So that's an example of where you have to drop the R or it doesn't rhyme, right? Because more doesn't rhyme with though, but mo rhymes with though. So that's a good call.
Why not? My music's all I got. But some time must be invested for this to be manifested. I know you know, but I'm gonna say this.
I'm gonna go to the next one.
So.
I say we go straight to the 9th one.
Do you want to? Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I don't recall from graduating at all. Sometimes I feel I'm just a disappointment to y'all. Every day I just lay around, then I can't be found. Always asking, give me some, living life like a bum. Times is rough. My auntie got enough problems of her own. Nigga, you're supposed to be grown. I agree. I try to be the man I'm supposed to be. But negativity is all you ever seem to see. I admit, I've done some dumb shit. And I'm probably gonna do some more. You shouldn't hold that against me, though. Why not? Why not? My music's all I got. But some time must be invested for this to be manifested. I know you know, but I'm gonna say this to you. I get high, but I don't get too high. So what's the limit supposed to be? That must be why you can't get your ass out of bed before 3. You need to get up, get out, cut all the bullshit out. Ain't you sick and tired of having to do without? Damn. What's all these questions? You act as though you know something I don't. Do you have any suggestions? Because every job I get is cruel and demeaning, sick of taking trash out and toilet bowl cleaning, but I'm also sick and tired of struggling. I never ever thought I'd had to resort to drug smuggling. Nah, that ain't what I'm about. Seal will just continue traveling his route without any doubt or fear. I know the Lord ain't brought me this far so he can drop me off here. Did I make myself clear?
Nice. Okay, that's a perfect, really well interpretation at the end, how long that pause is. You didn't hit it early, you didn't hit it late. It was perfect. Did I make myself clear? And really, you've managed to turn it into something that could be its own piece, right? Like, like if you got that delivery down well enough, I would be comfortable listening to you rapping only those words over a minute and a half. And then when you were done, I'd be like, damn, he really fucked up my day. In a good way. So that was really good. I noticed that you, those are the lyrics in case you want to check them out. So you did incorporate some of the stuff we worked on, the stuff I really liked last time, right? Like that pause before the ending. And I did notice that you did a pretty good job of differentiating between, I'm just going to call them, because this verse is really made up of two people having a conversation. It's just a little confusing because both those people are spoken by CeeLo. So I'm just going to say, to differentiate between the characters in this coming conversation, I'm going to say CeeLo and his conscience, okay? Just for simplicity's sake, right? So I did notice that you made a real effort and succeeded, for the most part, I think, on differentiating between CeeLo and his conscience. As far as I could tell, you gave his conscience a higher voice, so it's like, why not? And then you were kind of like, why not? When CeeLo responded, So that's a really nice touch. If I were you, I would even, heighten it, because it's like when, and my only, where I got tripped up trying to understand what you were doing is what is in the words that were adjacent to each other between CeeLo and his conscience. Because you kind of, slid from one to the next. So you would slide down through this middle part, or up through the middle part, when moving between their voices. So I would try to keep that heightening clear, or else it seems like CeeLo is talking to himself, which would be fine, but that's not really what you seem to be going for, So I wouldn't be like, why not? I would be like, why not? Why not? Almost like you're throwing your voice.
Like the transition much more abrupt.
Yeah, abrupt transition, good. And like you're a ventriloquist almost, right? Like you were here and your conscious were over there and you're throwing your voice over there. Do you have any do you have any suggestions part is really nice. I would we're gonna listen to it again. Do you have any suggestions? That line. That's a perfect example of what I'm saying when I'm trying to give you tools, and one of those tools is spoken word. Because while most of your verse is delivered in rap, delivered to a beat, I don't recall ever graduating at all. If you notice, on Do You Have Any Suggestions, you broke into a spoken word flow. Because you weren't like, do you have any suggestions? Which is how CeeLo does it. But you did it there's no beat. You just did it do you have any suggestions? Which is how people talk normally, and in spoken word. They let the syllables determine the rhythm, right? So the rhythm is like, do you have any suggestions? And then it's like da 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 da, or whatever, you know, because then it's determined by you is really important. The N of any, which is emphasized, it gets the stress, and then suggestions, right? And so the words are then giving the rap the rhythm instead of a beat behind it, right? So this is what I mean when I think even doing spoken word can help you. And I would, you know, it's a little funny because on your other songs you manipulated time so well that
It's breaking up again.
Hey, am I okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a little funny because on the other ones your arc was so clear. On this one, hey,
it's fairly monotonous.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's fairly monotonous. I'm not playing enough with the emotions in my voice, and I really need to incorporate that more. I hear that. I mean, I just heard that when you played it back on your side. Then I can hear how somebody who's listening to me, after a little bit of time, they'll just get bored because there's not enough, I think, play with the tone of the voice.
Yeah, and some of the parts I'm giving you, like, we could dive deep into it, but at this point, it's what I've been saying the whole time. It's like, well, what would the point of it be, right? Like, this isn't your song. We spent about 30 minutes of a lesson talking about how good lyrics give rise to good delivery, right? So that's why, like, some other people might say, like, oh yeah, your delivery's a little flat, and it is, but, like, at the end of the day, it will come, I guess, I feel like, so we'll get there, I guess, is kind of what I have to say, and I'll talk about that more in a little bit, in like 5 minutes, but first I wanted to talk about how you are expanding and compressing time on this, because this is where you lose the arc, because, right, so you don't have a beat, so really, unless you're rapping steadily, you are speeding up or slowing down, and you do this a lot on this delivery, but I don't know if you're speeding up. I don't think you're speeding up and slowing down at the right times. I think you know where to do it, but you aren't quite there. So, like, where's the really big response? Let's back up a little bit. I'm looking for the part where CeeLo responds to his conscience really hurtfully.
You act as though you know something I don't. Do you have any suggestions? Because every job I get is cruel and demeaning, sick of taking trash out and toilet bowl cleaning, but I'm also sick and tired of struggling. I never ever thought I'd had to resort to drug smuggling.
Okay, those are the crux. As you've delivered it here, those are the crux. That's the crux of the verse, right? Those 4 words. And this is what I mean when I say, I think you know where to speed up, but you're not. Because you almost get there, but you're not quite extreme enough. Because, and I say this is the crux, because the conscience, CeeLo's conscience, has kind of finally told him what he never wants to hear in 1,000 years. This is the moment after which his conscience has told him kind of like, you suck, you're a bum, you're lazy, no one likes you, your auntie hates you, you're not going to amount to any shit. So this is when his back is against the wall. And this is when you need to make your delivery faster. That's what that means, right? So let's look at the preceding words real quick. Dan, what you act as though you know something I don't. Do you have any suggestions? No, before that. That must be why you can't get your ass up out the bed for 3. You need to get up, get out, cut that bullshit out. So this is where his conscience is really giving it to him, man. He's like, you're lazy, you suck, whatever. So, and these are the crux. So you say it like, because every job I get is cruel and demeaning. And that's good. But it's like, you gotta be pissed off at your conscience, man. You gotta be like, because every job I get is cruel and demeaning. I'm sick of taking trash out, toilet bowl cleaning. I'm sick and tired. I'm sick. I'm tired of struggling. I never thought I'd have to resort to drug smuggling. That's where it's like, I need to hear everything you've got. Because that is the high point. Because his conscience has...
Because it just broke up the moment that you started it. So,
okay, John.
You go over that again?
Yeah. So, okay, just quick summary. So his conscience has finally given him, like, the thought he never wants to think. Like, you're lazy, you're a bum. So then CeeLo starts building up to this, right? He's like, you act as though you know something I don't. Do you have any suggestions? And then, like, this is how you do it. You're like, because every job I get is cruel and demeaning. Well, you do it a little faster than that. Because every job I get is cruel and demeaning. But, like, we need more out of you. You know, this is like, I don't know, like your least favorite teacher just sat you down in high school and told you you're never going to amount to anything. So it's kind of like, because every job, so it's sort of like, do you have any suggestions? Because every job I get is cruel and demeaning. I'm sick of taking trash out and toilet bowl cleaning. I'm sick. I'm tired of struggling. I never ever thought I'd have to resort to drug smuggling. You know, that is like, that's what I need you to feel. That, like, CeeLo, like, I don't know, man. You think all those dudes want to be dealing drugs? You think they want to be, like, in a fucking line of work where they could die, like, any day? Like that's like, you know, because Jay-Z makes money off it. He's like, yeah, I'm a drug smuggler, or I sell drugs, and that's awesome. And even, you know, B.I.G. Juicy is a little different, but it's like, this is one of the only lines I can think of where a rapper is like, dude, it sucks to sell drugs. It fucking sucks. You know, you're getting people high, you're destroying other people's families, you're not contributing to society, and everyone just wants to naturally do that. So that's why it's like, I need you to feel what CeeLo feels, right? Yeah, because these emotions are so universal. You know, everyone's had jobs, well, most everyone has had jobs. Like, dude, I love this verse because I've had jobs where I've had to fucking clean toilet bowls, dog. In Philadelphia at 2 a.m. at a bar and someone literally shat on the floor, dog. So, like, I can relate to this, man. So that's why it's just, like, no holds bar, and you gotta spit this verse as if people don't like it, then, like, you're homeless, you know, and that is the kind of grind these dudes have, because for a lot of them, it's true. Like, who says it? You don't work, you don't eat. I can't remember, maybe that's like a Lil Wayne line, right? But it's, yeah, but it's like, I never ever...
Russian. That's a literal word.
Oh, what's it mean?
He who doesn't eat.
Yeah, exactly, right? And that's like, that's what CeeLo is saying. What's so powerful about this verse is that CeeLo is asking these questions of himself. You know, it's not that a teacher came and is asking him this. It's not a policeman. It's not his parents. It's not his cousin. It's that his own conscience is, like, torturing him. It's like, yeah, what the fuck did you do today, man? You stayed in bed until 3, and then you got high. And then you went and cleaned toilet bowls. You know, and that's why fucking CeeLo Green is a judge on The Voice now, or whatever, or wherever he was, American Idol. So this is where you kind of lost me, right? Because that is the moment you need to build up to, and that's the climax. But you didn't treat it like the climax. So let's just go back over the start of yours again.
Always asking, give me some, living life like a bum. Times is rough. My auntie got enough problems of her own.
Sorry, let's do it from the start.
Every day, sometimes I feel I'm just a disappointment to y'all. Every day I just lay around, then I can't be found. Always, I don't recall ever graduating at all. Sometimes I feel I'm just a disappointment to y'all. Every day I just lay around, then I can't be found. Always asking, give me some, living life like a bum. Times is rough. My auntie got enough problems of her own. Nigga, you're supposed to be grown. I agree. I try to be the man I'm supposed to be. But negativity is all you ever seem to see.
See, like these opening bars are kind of missing for me that rhythmic compression where you speed up and expansion where you slow down. Like you did it on Angry, the Tupac Angry, the Tupac Depressed, all of those, you know? So it's like if I were to rap, this is funny, but if I were to rap CeeLo's words like how I think Eitan wants to do it, it would be more like, I don't recall ever graduating at all. Sometimes I feel I'm just a disappointment to y'all. Every day I just lay around, then I can't be found, always asking give me some, living life like a bum. Times is rough. My auntie got enough problems of her own. You supposed to be grown, I agree. I try to be the man I'm supposed to be, but negativity is all you ever seem to see. You know, so that's more like in line with your style. But I'm just missing that kind of expansion and compression of where you start slow in order to communicate like disappointedness, then you go fast to show that you're unhappy with how with your disappointedness, then you go slow again to show that you recognize how hard it will be to overcome that disappointedness, and then you go fast when you realize that your anger might be the answer to overcoming it. You know, like that is kind of the story I'm looking for your rhythms and emotions to tell here, and I'm not really hearing it. But I'm not too worried about it because I know, you know, like I said before, you've done that so much. But it's just like, these are, and this is kind of, I think this song, like you've done as much as you can, maybe, with this exercise without finding the song that speaks to you. Because at the end of the day, like, you know what, it's not your song, right? Like, and how to think of it. Like, Kendrick Lamar could rap this and make it sound like it's his verse, but only because he's done this enough times that he has ultimate control over his delivery. You know, it's like, it's like you have to build it up until, really, rappers, to a certain degree, are just good interpreters. They're good translators. They're good interlocutors, right? They talk between people. You know, it's not like they're the ones writing the fucking scholarly papers about police brutality or whatever, but they're bringing thoughts on police brutality to more people, and that's really what they're good at. So what does Kanye say? We rappers as role models, we rap, we don't think. And that's like a handbook on how to rap, right? It's like you have to hear what the other person wanted to say, and then do it that way. And that is why rap is so popular, because it's the voice of the voiceless, you know? It's like you had to... So Kendrick, it's not that... Kendrick has a great delivery, but also he knows what CeeLo was trying to say. He can see himself in it, and then he can just...
He can own it. He can make it his own.
Yeah, exactly. He can make it his own, but only because he's kind of done what I'm talking about enough times. So now, like, that's kind of my homework for you, would be to find a song that you think you could have written yourself. And we could talk a little bit about that. Do you know Modest Yahoo at all?
Yeah, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I
I think some of his stuff approaches it for me. So we could go one of two ways now. Do you want to listen to the stuff you wrote, the Mind Body one, or do you want to talk about finding that song, that next level song for you?
How about we do next level song, and then we transition into my stuff?
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Let me just, so were you working, I'm just wondering real quick, as a sidebar, were you working from this emotions list?
I had a different one. Yeah, I was working from this emotion list.
Wow.
Now I have a good. I went to Wikipedia and on Wikipedia, I typed in list of emotions, right, and it has like this wheel of emotions, which is not even close to as good as this list. This list is pretty phenomenal.
I was gonna say, yeah, it looks
You'll be surprised.
Pretty fucking deep. All right. So you know. Alright, so finding this next level song, you know, because it's hard, right? And I mean, you know, I know thousands of rap songs, and really, in terms of songs I've wanted to rap, or songs that I felt like I could have written, they're verses even, because I don't know if there's a song out there that front to back, I'm like, yeah, every one of those words, you know, so try to find a verse, I guess, that's the main thing. Find a verse that you feel you could have written. And again, this is just focusing our microscope on one element of your rap, right? So before, when I gave you the CeeLo words, we were focusing on, you know, we want the lyrics. We don't want to question whether or not the lyrics are good. And that's why we're working from other people's stuff. So when I give you the CeeLo words, then we know, like, those are good lyrics for anyone. Just good songwriting, good technique. So now when our microscope kind of zooms in, even further, when we move to a song that has good songwriting, but also has your emotion, right? Because that emotion will lead to a good delivery. So now we're not just working on, like, delivery in general, we're kind of working on your delivery, which I have a few thoughts on, right? Because it's like what Jean Grey said in that interview, and hopefully you read it. Everyone's flow is their own, and you know what your voice sounds like best more than anyone else. So I think for you, I actually hear two, you know. I hear your main modal voice of, you know, just your normal speaking voice, and as long as you can sound convincing in that, that's a good one. But you had a higher, your happy one. Your happy sort of on Tupac. I think you do have something that's a little higher, where you constrict your vocal box and make it go a little high, like a little more pinpoint, a little thinner, is what I mean to say. And you know, obviously Eminem is famous because he has 3 different ones with Eminem, Slim Shady, and Marshall Mathers. So those are just things for you to think about, though, you know, the interplay of your deliveries. Because, yeah, that's how rappers think about it anyway. So now we want to find you a verse, right? And I'm just going to give you mine. Because, like I said, it's hard to find a song that, front to back, I could say, like, yeah, I wrote this. But for me, it's kind of Eminem, Airplanes Part 2, which is a B.O.B. song. Probably Common's verse on Jesus Walks remix. And I'm going to do some of these for you now to show you. We're going to listen to the real one and then listen to what I do and then compare them to show you what I'm going for. Even Common's verse is a little far away, though, because it talks about black history, which is great, and I'm all for it, but I myself am not black, so I just can't, you know, I'm never going to feel it like he feels it, I guess, is how to say it. And then but then Eminem, I think it's Eminem, a verse on Legacy, and so, which is from the Marshall Mathers LP too. But the easiest one is Airplanes Part 2 by Eminem. Yeah, and what is the, let's listen to this, and then I'm going to find, that other Eminem verse, too. Airplane. And then we can start talking about artists, how to find these artists. This is CLB. I'll tell you when it starts.
So let's just pretend and make wishes out of airplanes. And it seems like yesterday, it was just a dream. But those days are gone, they're just memories. And it seems like yesterday, it was just a dream. But those days are gone. Alright, let's pretend Marshall Mathers never picked up a pen. Let's pretend things would have been no different. Pretend he procrastinated, had no motivation. Pretend he just made excuses that were so paper thin they could blow away with the wind. Marshall, you're never gonna make it. Makes no sense to play the game, there ain't no way that you win. Pretend he just stayed outside all day and played with his friends. Pretend he even had a friend to say was his friend. And it wasn't time to move and schools weren't changing again. He wasn't socially awkward and just strange as a kid. He had a father and his mother wasn't crazy as shit. And he never dreamed he could rip stadiums and just lazy as shit. Fuck a talent show in the gymnasium, bitch. You all about the shit. Quit daydreaming, kid. You need to get your cranium checked. You're thinking like an alien, it just ain't realistic. Now pretend pain just make him angry with this shit. And there was no one he could even name when he's pissed it. And his alarm went off to wake him, but he didn't make it to the rap Olympics. Left to his plane and he missed it. He's gonna have a hard time explaining to Haley and Laney these food stamps and his weak shit. Cause he never risked shit. He hoped that he wished it, but it didn't fall in his lap. So he ain't even here. He pretends that
So that's that one, and the other one is Legacy. Yeah, I sent it to you. Okay, so real quick, you know, like when I realized what this verse was, I guess, like it blew me away. You know, like every word down to crazy level of detail fits my life. You know, and there was some stuff in there. So like Haley and Laney, you know, those are his 2 kids. So I can't rap those words. So I changed them to Stacy and Katie. Because Stacy is my aunt and Katie is my cousin. And so I went to live with them after I didn't want to live at home when I graduated college. Because my dad's an alcoholic and I didn't want to live with him. And so, but like besides that, and the food stamps and Wix shit, and I changed Rap Olympics to Rap Olympus. You know, like to be the greatest rapper ever, because, you know, there's an actual event, the Rap Olympics, that Eminem did well at. But beyond that, like, this level of detail stuck with me all the time, you know. So this is a verse, actually, that I've rapped before, and I recorded it. I thought it was so good, I could record it. So, like, just some of the details, you know, I used to make a lot of excuses, you know, just for bailing on stuff, to be like, oh, I'm tired, oh, I'm sick. oh, I don't have the money to go out, you know, like, just excuses, and it's not that it came down to, like, a dependability thing for why I eventually changed, you know, and so I could relate to that, but even stuff like, Marshall, you're never gonna make it, makes no sense to play the game, there ain't no way that you'll win. I was bullied a lot as a kid because I was so small, and I had glasses, and I played rugby, and, you know, rugby, you kind of got to be a big guy to be good at it, right? And so, like, I could relate to that. I was diagnosed with social anxiety and depression as a kid. I hated, changing schools was always really hard for me, from grade school to high school, from high school to Duke. So he says, and it wasn't time to move, and schools weren't changing again. So whenever I moved schools, you know, from town to town, I always lived in the same home, but that was tough. So he wasn't socially awkward and just strange as a kid. I just told you I got diagnosed with the social anxiety. I told you about my dad. It kind of, sort of, maybe drove my mom crazy a little bit. So it's like, this is the level of detail, though. You know, I can relate to every single word, and that's really what we're looking for. And even like Eminem's response to these problems, I can relate to. Because I just got pissed off. You know, that was always my response. So like when I got bullied, and I went to play rugby, I just got super pissed off, and then I wanted to tackle everyone, and then I was pretty good at it, to the point that I started, and I got an award for best tackler. No big deal. But yeah, so this is what we're looking for, you know. So let me, I'm going to try and find that level of detail, I mean, though. So it could be anything, you know. It doesn't have to be your childhood. It doesn't even have to be your problems. But just a word where you can relate to everyone. It helps to find a rapper that you know is like you beforehand, you know. So if you're like super Christian, you might want to rap a Chance the Rapper verse. If you're Jewish, you might want to rap a Modest Yahoo verse. I imagine that there are Israeli rappers that you could relate to. Yeah, or like if you really feel a connection to a hometown, find a rapper from a hometown like that. Like I'm just telling you the places to start to try and find these verses. So I mean, I even know either Immortal Technique, because you would have had to do military service, right?
Oh, it's great Immortal Technique.
Yeah. So either, I think Immortal Technique or Atmosphere is actually...
Atmosphere is also great.
Yeah, one of them... Oh, rapper. One of them is one of them was a soldier in the American Army, I thought. So I'm trying to...
It wasn't Immortal Technique. It was Atmosphere. Immortal Technique was not an arm. I mean, I can't see Immortal Technique being a soldier.
Okay, to be honest, I don't know Immortal Technique at all. Oh, here's a slideshow. I don't know, you know, so maybe, like, if that's your thing, or, like, if you love, you know, I think you said you had children, so then you're looking for rappers who are parents. So I know, Talib Kweli has a song, Joy, about the birth of his child. Game has a song, from Documentary. So now I'm just trying to find you songs that you might be able to, relate to, you know, if it's your kids. Game. Let me look up real quick what the name of that one. Is it not Church? It's the final song, I think. Oh, is it? Oh,
what? For Game?
Yeah. No, I guess Games Like Father Like Son. Yeah, so Games Like Father Like Son. So I'm just trying to help you, like Father Like Son. Okay, yeah, and then so like this is how I would block. All right, let me see if I can find the Airplanes Part 2 instrumental, and I'll do the Eminem rap. Some of his rhythms towards the end are a little complicated, so I'm gonna try and keep up with it. But let's see. I mean, I think I even have it recorded.
And the timing couldn't have been more perfect. Yes. That looks fantastic.
We're always happy to help. Thanks for calling Bluehost.com. Trained experts available to every Bluehost customer 24/7.
Damn.
Pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars. I can really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars? I can really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now.
Alright, it's a little slower.
Wish right now, wish right now, wish right now. Can we pretend that
Alright, sorry, I don't like that beat. It's a little slower and it doesn't have all the parts to it. But I also recorded it, and I'm gonna do it in a second as soon as I find a better beat. Oh, Eminem solo. Okay, let me just try this one then.
Shooting stars, I can really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars? I can really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now.
Let's pretend. Martin Connor never picked up a pen. Things would have been no different. Pretend he procrastinated, had no motivation. Pretend he just made excuses that were so paper thin, they could blow away with the wind. Martin, you're never gonna make it. Makes no sense to play the game, there ain't no way that you'll win. Pretend he just stayed outside all day and played with his friends. Pretend, so like that's kind of what we're going for. And really there, I was just, damn, it's not here? Sorry, I thought I had it recorded, I don't. Yeah, God, that's really weird. Airplanes. I thought it was saved under airplanes part. So, yeah, and that beat was slower, so it threw me off a little bit. Airplanes part infinity. Alright, let me try the recorded part. But again, and it comes down to even more detail, right? Is that his first name sounds like my first name, Martin and Marshall, and his last name has the same number of syllables as mine, and even the last syllable of his last name sounds like mine, right? So I think, yeah, this is a recording of it.
Let's pretend Martin Connor never picked up a pen. Let's pretend things will have been no different. Pretend he procrastinated, had no motivation. Pretend he just made excuses that were so paper thin, they could blow away with the wind. Martin, you're never gonna make it. Makes no sense to play the game, there ain't no way that you win. Pretend he just stayed outside all day and played with his friends. Pretend he even had a friend to say was his friend. It wasn't time to move and schools were changing again. He wasn't socially awkward and just strange as a kid. He had a father and his mother wasn't crazy as shit. Never dreamed he could rip stadiums and just lazy as shit. Fucking talent show in the gymnasium, bitch. You won't amount to shit. Quit daydreaming, kid.
So I like the first part of that better than what I did, but like maybe it'll be easier without the beat. So this is how I would do it, right? I'd be like, let's pretend Martin Connor never picked up a pen. Let's pretend things would have been no different. Pretend he procrastinated, had no motivation. Pretend he just made excuses that were so paper thin, they could blow away with the wind. Martin, you're never gonna make it. Makes no sense to play the game. There ain't no way that you'll win. Pretend he just stayed outside all day and played with his friends. Pretend he even had a friend to say was his friend, and it wasn't time to move and schools were changing again. He wasn't socially awkward and just strange as a kid. He had a father and his mother wasn't crazy as shit. He never dreamed he could rip stadiums and just lazy as shit. Fuck a talent show in the gymnasium, bitch. You won't amount to shit. Quit daydreaming, kid. You need to get your cranium checked. You're thinking like an alien. It just ain't realistic. Now pretend they ain't just make him angry with this shit. And there was no one he could even aim when he's pissed at. And his alarm went off to wake him, but he didn't make it to the rap Olympics. Something was played and he missed it. He's gonna have a hard time explaining to Stacy and Katie this food stamps and this wick shit, cause he never risked shit. He hoped and he wished it, but it didn't fall in his lap. So he ain't even here. He pretends that. That was better. And you can, yeah, and you can tell that, like, I like the one I just did without the beat, obviously, of all of the ones I've done for you today, I think is the best, because it's like, yeah, I reference Eminem's style, but I do my own thing, like right when Eminem hits his, I'll take you to Eminem, I'll take you to how Eminem, where Eminem and I depart, and it's right at the climax. Right there, because he kind of keeps his cool more than I do, right? He says, now pretend they ain't just make him angry with this shit. He says that, of course he's pissed off, but I do it more like, now pretend they ain't just make him angry with this shit. I'm putting more of that angry growl into my voice, which again is a musical phenomenon. So this is how we're talking about it, right? Is that I'm angry, and yes, that's the emotion, but that anger makes a musical change to the timbre of my voice. Because he says, like, angry. He pronounces it clearly, but I'm like, angry. I put that, I don't know, chest voice, vocal register into it, right? And we both start off pretty similar. To be perfectly blunt, I don't quite have the flow at the start that he does, because he's got this staccato on all of his T words, like pretend he procrastinated, had no motivation, and my voice really doesn't fit that. You know, I like words that flow. My voice sounds better that way. But you can tell how we started out fairly similar, you know, calm, and then you get angry, and then you calm down again and drop off. And even my drop off, like my drop off ending was more like cynical. Like, he pretends that. Like, you know, because Eminem's whole point is that it could have been this way, but it wasn't. Because he's Eminem. But I'm still just Martin Connor, you know. I'm not famous at all. So my point is that I'm Martin Connor. It might be this way. I'm Martin Connor. It could be this way, and it might still be this way. Which is, I have to put something different on it, right? Because if his points rely on the fact that he's famous and talented and rich, and I am none of those things, arguably, then I have to find a different way to spin it, right? And that is like, and I do that by making it a challenge to myself. To be like, you know, my emotions communicate like, look, Martin, you don't want to be rapping these words in 15 years and wondering about what might have been. So that is why these words hit so close to home for me, you know? So is this giving you any ideas? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, definitely. It's giving me a lot of ideas of how to, I'd say, build more drama.
Yeah.
Ideas about verses that I think I'm just gonna have to go back and listen to a lot of that.
Hey, you there?
I'll start reading the lyrics and just, you know, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. Yeah, what were you saying? Say it again. Sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking so. It's like I'll need to go back and just listen to a bunch of stuff that, you know, I like, and I already have a couple of ideas about which verses are
good.
more or less in line with what I am more attached to, let's say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just look up lyrics, and over like today, tomorrow, I'll pick one out and start, you know, going over and trying to put my own spin on it.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. You know, we're really looking for a super level of in-depth relationship that you have to it, you know. So this might take a few days, a week, multiple weeks, because like I said, you know, I know thousands of songs, and there are really only 3 or 4 that I'm like, wow, I could have written every word to that verse. But yeah, so there is, that's a good, so try to find a song like that. And I know I gave you some songs last time to think about the arcs, to try and find the arcs that they use.
Rigor mortis.
Yeah, did you get a chance to do that at all?
Rigor mortis.
Okay, do you want to talk about that one now? You want to talk about that now?
No, you know what? I sent you something I just started on rigor mortis. Not even close to being ready. But I think maybe with the rest of the time that we have, maybe we go over my original stuff.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's a good call. Okay, yeah, so do you just want to keep working on rigor mortis for next time?
For next time.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, because I just thought of another good song that has a good arc to it, too. So if you want to, Scared of You. Yeah, it's called Young Thug Scared of You. And it's just, it's the same, yeah, that's all. I mean, it's the same kind of assignment I gave you last time, right? Okay, yeah, let's do your...
I know exactly...
You know exactly what?
What was that? I know which verse I'm going to do.
Oh, do you? Good. Who's it by?
Into my head.
Who's it by?
It's by Stefan. Here, let me get you the words. Hold on. I'm looking it up on Google. Just give me a second.
Okay, yeah. And I'll start playing your song.
You'll be surprised how quick your soul will demise when you endeavor in corporal delight when your cognition's not right. Let me lead you inside the depth of my mind, an entangled mess where you'll find the antonyms sublime. Maybe you can bridge a chasm between involuntary spasms and my need to control.
Do you have the lyrics for Mind Over Body?
Yeah.
Yeah, could you send me them?
Yeah. Definitely. Give me a
Thanks.
second.
Yeah, that'll help me a lot.
My body, my soul, holding me hostage until I acknowledge this magnitude of divide between my aptitude to reside on the side where my body used to feel pride. I felt so alive before my swan dive. Let me break my thesis down to pieces. I don't believe in Jehovah the Messiah or Jesus, 'cause none of them ever had to feel this. Better believe this. Let me break my thesis down to pieces. I don't believe in Jehovah the Messiah or Jesus, 'cause none of them ever had to feel this. Better believe this. The rift that separates my body and mind leaves me at arm's length from what steam to find. Sculpted abs, bulging arms, 6'2", eyes so blue, a gaze so hypnotic sees right through you. An ideal so shallow, I repeal those values that can't heal those hollow souls that follow. I made a decision that changed my vision, had to reposition due to my condition. Addition of love, no more omission, now I'm a man on a mission. Let me break my thesis down to pieces. I don't believe in Jehovah the Messiah or Jesus, 'cause none of them ever had to feel this. Better believe this. Let me break my thesis down to pieces. I don't believe in Jehovah the Messiah or Jesus, 'cause none of them ever had to feel this. Better believe this. Close your eyes and lose control of your mind, body, and soul. Be an empty slate as I portray a different type of fate. Become an astute observer, a lifelong learner. Nurture these two things and become an earner. Be curious, even more so studious. Push the boundaries, but nothing dubious. Set yourself apart, read some Descartes. Brush up on art, but never feel smart. Depart from this song with one thing in hand. God damn, I think, therefore I am.
Yeah, that's a good ending. What's the difference between the two takes?
Not much.
Okay.
One's just the delivery is a little stronger.
Okay, yeah. Let me just get a feel for this one real quick.
You'll be surprised how quick your soul will demise when you endeavor in corporal delight, when your cognition's not right. Let me lead you inside the depth of my mind, an entangled mess where you'll find the antonym of sublime. Maybe you can bridge a chasm between involuntary spasms and my need to control my body, my soul, holding me hostage until I acknowledge this magnitude of divide between my aptitude to reside on the side where my body used to feel pride. I felt so alive before my swan dive. Let me break my thesis down to pieces. I don't believe in Jehovah the Messiah or Jesus, 'cause none of them. Let me break my belief in Jehovah, feel this, and leaves me at arm's length from what's deemed divine. Sculpted abs, bulging arms, 6'2", eyes so blue, a gaze so hypnotic sees right through you. An ideal so shallow, I repeal those values that...
Yeah, okay, that's enough to work with. Yo, so, what do you want this to go over a beat, or did you want it to just be what it is now, just your words?
I wanted to go over a beat. I'm just trying to find the lyrics of the other song and just... I'll find the lyrics and I'll send it to you later.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's focus on your stuff for now. Because I'll see you next week, too.
Yeah.
So, okay,
right.
So you wanted to put it over a beat.
Yeah, the way it starts, I know I can't go over a beat because, I just start out, I don't give the listener even a chance to, and I just start out, fast lyrics and stuff like that, and I don't know if that's cool or not, but...
No, bro,
it's just,
that is the best fucking part. That is what, everything I'm about to tell you is for the purpose of preserving that coolness, and it's once again, you gotta think about what you have, right? Because, okay, it's and I think the difference between your delivery on this song and your delivery on Get Up, Get Out and your delivery on Tupac shows us why we are re-rapping Tupac's words and CeeLo's words, right? Because it's you nailed it. You got the delivery down really pretty well on Tupac's and CeeLo's words. But it's like, when you got here, I feel like, and you started writing your own words, it's like, I feel like you forgot what you had learned from re-rapping Tupac and CeeLo's words, right? Because some of your delivery doesn't work, and then some of your delivery is just like a different song, right? So this is what I hear in your song. Again, that opening, you'll be surprised how quick your soul will demise. Nice. Okay, because I can't, this is how I know you found a flow for you, is that I can't rap like that. You know, and it's not that I'm really good, it's just that you found a flow that's so unique, it doesn't fit my mouth. So let me, with the disclaimer that this is not how you rap it, let me try to do what you do. You'll be surprised how quick your soul will demise when you endeavor and corporal delight when your recognition's not right. Yeah, that's really nice, okay? But it's like, now, since this is your best idea on the song, chorus aside, this is what we have to work to preserve, right? So it's like, honestly, I wouldn't worry about a beat for now, right? Because there are just too many minefields there. Like, first you have to find someone to make a beat, then you have to make sure the beat fits, then you have to make sure the beat is good, then you have to re-record it over the beat. So I would kind of leave all that stuff to the side right now and ask yourself, if this were going, you know, what we did with CeeLo, like, if this is going to be the entire song, what would it be? Right? Because your second verse, okay, your chorus is really good. And we're going to talk about it in a little bit. I really like the words. The delivery needs work. The second verse, it's not that it's bad, it just does not fit at all with the opening of your song. Right? So, it's like, this is how I'm thinking. Where is, okay, I made a, this, all of this, you know, your opening, where you're just, I don't want to call it, you're just continuously rapping, right? You'll be surprised how quick your soul will demise when you endure. I want to hear that, like, over and over. Not the same words. I want to hear the same rhythms over and over. Like, I just want to be bathed in them. I just want to hear, like, oh my god, yes. Now the rhyme's there, now the rhyme's there, now the rhyme's there. You know, because this is what's so interesting about it, right? Because you have no beat, you don't have to put your rhymes in specific places, right? Like, rappers put their rhymes at the end of their sentences, at the end of bars, because that's where loops repeat. But you don't have that. So you can put your beats anywhere. So if you look at it, it's like, where are your rhymes? Your rhymes are on the prize of surprise, demise, light, and right? And what we see if we count, and so you're just flowing so that every syllable is right next to the next one, right? You're not taking any pauses. So if we count the number of syllables in between the rhymes, we'll see that it's not a number that is steady or even. So it's like, you'll be sir. Okay, so then we have 3, then rhyme. How quick your soul will. 5, then rhyme. No, how quick your soul will, you'll be surprised, demise. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. I'm ignoring the fact that sir and kind of rhyme for now. So we're saying...
Yeah, trying to go multi-syllabical on all of them, but...
Yeah.
It's the A and the rest of them.
Yeah, it'll show better what I'm talking about. Honestly, they're kind of like slightly besides the point right now. When you endeavor in do you say corporal or corporal?
Corporal.
Okay.
It's not corporal. I needed to shorten the word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you
and I tend to say it that way anyway.
Okay, good. Okay, so then you wait 9, and then you get the rhyme on the light of delight. When your cognition's not, and then you go back to 6. So this is what is awesome about your opening flow, right? Is that you're constantly putting the rhymes in different places, and actually that's a really tight. It's cool because if there was a beat to it, and I can slow it down, and it will all the rhymes will be in the same relative places, if not the same absolute places. So watch this. You'll be surprised off the beat how quick your soul will demise on the beat when you'll endeavor in corporal delight on the beat when your cognition's not right off the beat. So it's like this is essentially what your rhythms sound like when I think about their most important parts. It's like this: rhyme, 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 rhyme. You know, and so because you're constantly flipping the same structure across, this is why this is your fucking best idea on the song by far. And it's really cool, man. It is really super cool. Like if you pull this off with the delivery, this is something that stands with like MF Doom, A$AP Rock, Talib Kweli. I mean, it's just super sweet, man. It's just so good to feel words like that. I don't know how else to put it, but you know, it's just like I hear what you're going for, and that's what's most important. You know, I can't describe it in words because otherwise you would have just written a blog post or whatever. But it's like that is by far the best thing, you know. And I kind of get that from you, right? Is that you're a little more like academic, intellectual. So I'm not saying that this is like only appeal to people like that. But if that's what your flow comes off as, then we could do worse, right? So because we now understand why this is your best idea, now we know why the rest of the song should all be shaped to fit it, right? So what it means is that now that we know this is your best idea, you pretty much want to lose the second verse. Like, just get rid of it. Save it for a later song. I'm not saying that it's bad. It just doesn't. It's not nearly as good as.
Second verse, meaning from "Let Me Lead You Inside."
Whatever's after your first chorus.
Or yeah, the rift that separates my body and mind leaves me at arm's length from what's deemed divine.
Yeah, because I don't think you rap it like that though.
Let me break. Because none of the rift that separates my body and mind leaves me at arm's length from what's deemed divine.
Yeah, see, now you have pauses in your flow. So it's just like, why did he get rid of that really cool thing that sounded awesome? You know, you take pauses after divine.
So let me do it. Let me just do it live for you, so you see how it's like.
Yeah,
how
you want
I
it?
feel
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's like you'll be surprised how quick your soul will demise when you never incorporate the light when your condition's not right. Let me lead you in. Mind and in control, my body, my soul, holding me hostage until I acknowledge its magnitude of divide between my aptitude to reside and the side where my body used to feel pride. I felt so alive before my swan dive. And then the chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just down to pieces. I don't believe in Jehovah the Messiah or Jesus. If none of them ever had to feel this, better believe this, and goes on, right? And then the rift that separates my body and mind leaves me at arm's length from what's deemed divine. Sculpted at bulging arms 6 feet 2 wide, so blue a gaze, so hypnotics is right for you.
Okay. This is so like you're delivering it. Hey, sorry, can you hear me?
So shall
Yeah, okay, so this is the thing, right? Is your opening lines, though, and this is really, like, complex stuff. Let's compare your opening verses, right? Because you can spit the opening of both of your verses. You can try to rap them with the same rhymes, but they're not the same. Right? And it comes down to what the syllable structure is and how English moves from one of these syllables to the next, right? So, like, you'll be surprised. All of your syllables in there are ones that I think of as being open. They're all open syllables, which is to say that their ending is very given to gliding into the next one because you don't block the airflow at all. This is what I mean. I'm sorry, but this totally matters. I know it seems like really minutia, but it's not. So it's like, you'll be surprised.
No, this is actually great. This is exactly what I need to...
Yeah.
This is exactly the type of stuff that I'm looking to learn, because this is just like... You know, these like little gems about words, and which words are going to go well with one another.
Yeah.
Use the word, let's say, on one, and want to tie into another verse, how you can incorporate them together. This is exactly that.
Okay, good. Okay. So this is the problem with spitting your second verse, like how you try to spit your opening verse, is that there are too many closed syllables, right? So I want us to do a little thought experiment now. Say B for a long time. Say the word B. Go like B.
B. I can go on for long.
Okay, good. Now say it really quick. Say it as quick as you can. Many times over. Yes, exactly. Okay, now say the word rift for as long as you can. Okay, stop. Now say rift as quick as you can. Over and over.
Rift. Yeah, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, so, and also, the one about saying it over and over makes it obvious how different these words' rhythms are, you know, because a linguist would just be like, oh, well, they're both one-syllable words, and bad rap teachers would be like, oh, no, you can spit your opening and second verse just like how you do your first. But the problem is, when you hold rift, you know, you could say riff, or you could do riff. But the thing is that the sound you're holding is not at the end of the word, right? It's in the middle of the word. Because the I vowel sound is in the middle of rift, and the F consonant sound is before the T, right? And even T, you have to close your teeth to say it. T. You know, but are those things true for the word be when you say be?
Nah, because you can just cut it off whenever you want.
Exactly. Yes. So even L, you know, if you think about it, you can, and then you'll be, right? You'll be. Right now, I don't want you to think of that as two separate words. I want you to think of that as one word, almost like you'll, almost like someone spelled it like that, like you'll be. Because this is why your first verse works, right? Because it's not that B is the only open syllable; it's that they're all open. And you'll is another one of that. Like, put you'll in front of anything. Like, you'll tie, you'll die, you'll buy, you'll guy. And that L always glides into it. I think linguists even call it a glide. You know, and R is kind of like that to a separate, to a different degree. So this is the problem, right? Is that your syllables are just not given to the kind of flow. You're not keeping up the tempo. You're falling behind the tempo when you try to rap that many closed syllables, right? Because it's like, the rift that separates my body and mind leaves me at arm's length for what's deemed divine. You know, like, there are D's everywhere in that. There are T's everywhere. There are breaks. Like, my mind is just like, there's a pause, there's a pause, there's a pause, there's a pause. And that's why that flowing legato rhythm, it comes across as choppy. It comes across as choppy. And that's the problem with it. Is that the syllables aren't where they're supposed to be, but not because they're the wrong syllables. Like the structure of the syllables, you know? And I think you've kind of got the point now, but this is what I'm saying. Like, you have to rewrite the second verse so that it has those open syllables, you know? So it's like words that end in oo, words that end in e, words that end with l, yeah, just all those, not d's. We don't like d's here, not t's. Even G's, whether it's a hard or soft. Actually, no, probably not G's, because even when it's a J, you know, you have to close your teeth. You kind of got to pay attention to what your mouth is doing to understand what the rhythm of a syllable is, right? Because B and rift might both seem like they only take up one beat or 1/16th note, but what we're finding out now is that when you craft really good flows, this kind of shit matters. Got me? Yeah. So and this, yeah, and so, you know, this structure I gave you before of how you are structuring your rhymes, where I was like 3 syllables rhyme, 6 syllables rhyme, 9 syllables rhyme, 6 syllables rhyme. That is something you need to preserve too, right? So if I were you, broad strokes, rewrite the second verse, I guess. Well, lose the current second verse and 2. Rewrite it with more open syllables. Opening needs to be much longer. I'm talking like, I don't know what it feels like now. 8 bars, 12 bars, but even like 16, you know, man, because it's just like, I want to play you a song to tell you the effect I'm going for, and it's a song I played, and maybe I played it a little bit for you. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to play you a good amount of it, because this is the effect I'm going.
When you say opening, When you say opening, what do you mean? You mean like the whole first verse?
Yeah, the whole first verse. The part that has corporal delight in it. You'll be surprised how quick your soul will demise when you endeavor in corporal delight, when your cognition is not right. Let me lead you inside. Entangled mess where you'll find the element of sublime. Maybe you can bridge this guy. Okay, because here's the thing, right? Is right now, I'm approaching this as if you're not going to put it over a beat. And what that means is that the chorus takes on a special significance, right? Because most rap songs without a beat are just freestyles, which means they don't have choruses. So, but I like your chorus, right? So I would save it. So this is where you have to start thinking about freestyle forms. So, what is this? Learn from, I think it's What's Beef. Learn from the musical structure of What's Beef by Mos Def and Wyclef Jean's 80 bars. Like, this is now a freestyle, which means that your opening verse kind of shouldn't be 16 bars, because then it sounds like it's a verse-chorus form, and that's just not gonna work here without a beat behind it, you know? And there are other ones, like, I think Layup by Future, and so in freestyles, it's more about your verses. So what that means is that while there might be a total of 32 bars or 48 bars divided into 3 sections of 16 on a verse-chorus form, here I really would love to see you do something that splits it into like 40 plus 8, you know? So like your first verse is 40 bars, and then your verse 2 equals 8 bars, right? Because this will make the listener understand that it's a freestyle. And it would still allow you to save your chorus, which I think is really nice, if we make it a more singable. And that comes down to changing the lyrics a little bit, right? Because you are rushing, first off, I really like the sentiment. I think it's something that a lot of people could relate to. Second, you know, you're kind of rushing, Jehovah, the Messiah, or Jesus, this sentence.
Right.
That's, it's not, right here we're getting to the differentiation between idea and form. The idea is right, but the form, with, again, simple changes, could be, better. And we do that by removing syllables, right? And we do that by finding synonyms for these things, because believe, Jehovah, Messiah, and Jesus, that's just a lot to get out, man. What is that, you know, like 10 syllables, 10 plus? And so, I know, yeah. So, I know, like, there is no, I can't think of a synonym for Messiah. So maybe, and Jesus is the rhyming word, because it rhymes with pieces and thesis, so you can't really...
Well, the only word Jehovah is God, right?
Yeah.
God is one syllable.
Yeah, you could do God, or even Yahweh, you know, because what's nice about Jehovah, though, is that it's culturally specific, right? You know,
right.
It to Israel, to Hebrew, and so that's why I kind of like, I don't want to lose that part, right? So Yahweh might be better, but if you can't, God is good too. And you know, there are tons of names of God in the Bible, we just don't use them a whole lot. So what is it, like El, or something like that? Or something for the Messiah, yeah, would be good. Just something else. Or you could even, no, I guess they never dropped a definite article. They never just say Messiah.
I could find a lot of synonyms for anything that has to do with God, or probably the word with the most amount of
synonyms. Yeah, and so the other
synonyms.
Thing, yeah, and the other thing is, I don't believe in Jehovah the Messiah. Okay. So the other thing you could do is switch places between Messiah and Jehovah, right? Because the problem is that Jehovah moves Messiah too much to the right, so that, you know, Messiah. So its accent is on the second syllable. But the problem is that Jehovah, that puts it off. So let me count it, right? It goes like this. This is how we would have to pronounce it, how you have it now. Jehovah. Oh, sorry. It's just so hard to do it wrong. Jehovah the Messiah or Jesus. You know, so the accents are a little bit all over the place, right? Because it's like in Jehovah the Messiah, so the Messiah falls late. So if you switched, like, I don't believe in the Messiah, Yahweh, or Jesus, I think that would probably work the best. I don't believe in the Messiah, Yahweh, or Jesus. Because what we're trying to do is land the accented syllables of those three words, Messiah, Yahweh, and Jesus, on the beat, right? So we're trying to land Sai, it's Yahweh, right? Yeah, Yah and G. So it would have to be like the Messiah, Yahweh, or Jesus. The Messiah, Yahweh, Jesus. You could drop or, you know, because, I mean, it is art, so people aren't looking for perfect grammar. But then we will get there, right? It would be the Messiah, Yahweh, Jesus, right? Messiah, Yahweh, Jesus. And you hear how that flows much better than, I don't believe in Jehovah, the Messiah, or Jesus. You know, now you're just all over the place. And that might work in a verse, but in a chorus, you know, they call it a hook, because it's supposed to be hooked by the listener, to hook the listener in, and in order for the listener to be hooked in, they have to remember it. And you make it easier to remember by standardizing the relationship between the accents of your syllable and the accents of your music. Bam. Good stuff?
Go over that one again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying, because remember, right, so it's like words have their own accents, right? Messiah. The accent is on the second syllable. Messiah.
Yahweh is first syllable.
Yeah, exactly. But it can always change, right? Because volunteer is also three syllables, like Messiah, but we say it volunteer. And even architect has it on the first one, right? So the problem right now is that this Jehovah the Messiah or Jesus. So I just wrote out that part with the accented lines, right? And the problem is that there are three syllables between ho and sai, but only two syllables between G and Zus. So I changed it to what I did because now the accented words are on every other syllable. Saya, Yahweh, Jesus. And that is so much easier to say and to rap and to understand and to remember and enjoy, which is the goal. You know, so right now, this is what yours looks like. I don't believe in, wait, where am I? I don't believe in Jehovah the Messiah. Wow, no. I don't believe in Jehovah the Messiah or Jesus, right? Like, you're running Messiah across the beat that it's accented. Let me just write it down. Right now, the accented syllable of Messiah is too far from the downbeat of the music. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's listen to your, okay. Let's listen to your chorus real quick.
Jehovah the Messiah, thesis down to pieces. Right on the side where my body used to feel pride. I felt so alive before my swan died.
I'm going to count the beat.
Let me break my thesis down to pieces. I don't believe in Jehovah the Messiah or Jesus, 'cause none of them ever had to feel this. Better believe this. Let me break my thesis down to pieces. I don't believe in Jehovah the Messiah or Jesus.
Alright,
None of them.
so if you go back and watch that again, you'll notice that the sigh came almost exactly between the my two snaps. I went like, you said Messiah, and then I snapped again. You know, you're right here almost. You're like, Messiah, and it's just, they're two out of sync right now, right? It's like, this is what it looks like right now, and the changes I made to it interlocked it together. Because now it's Messiah, Yahweh, Jesus, and you don't have to rush anything. Yeah, does that help?
So, do you feel like I don't believe in Messiah, where is it? I don't believe in Messiah, Yahweh, Jesus.
Yeah. I don't believe in Messiah, Yahweh, Jesus. Yeah, there you go. And that even has better rhythm to it, you know? I don't believe in Messiah, Yahweh, Jesus. And even don't believe, you know, there is don't believe in. That's 4 syllables. There's definitely something that's shorter. You know, like, this is not quite it, but it's like, I don't care for. And that's 3, right? So now you're going through synonyms, like pay attention to, but that's more. That's more syllables. I don't follow. I don't follow. Don't follow. 3. Easy. Boom. Done. And then, because you need more space. Like right now, you need more space for your words. Because right now, you're just rushing them. But yeah, does that help? Are we on the same page?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, and so what...
Got to go over it and try to see how it works and fits in and rewrite a bunch of stuff. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good pointers. I can definitely see where this needs to go.
Okay,
but in general, what do you think of the lyrics?
The lyrics themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really like, where do you start from? I'm just looking for your very, I can find it. I'm just looking for your very first. You'll be so quick, so when you endeavor incorporate the light when you're cognition, not right, let me lead you. Okay, yeah. So I really like the lyrics, and I like the lyrics because they go with the chorus, right? And so what I'm hearing here, what I find most interesting, is that you're kind of like giving religious advice, but like without theology, right? It is what I hear, because what do you say? Like, I don't believe in Jehovah, the Messiah, or Jesus. So we can take it for granted, that you're not Jewish, you're not Christian, but you still think that there are things to be learned from them. And that is the direction I would take it, right? Because what does Chance say? Chance the rapper, that is, he has lots of rhymes about going to heaven. He has lots of rhymes about Jesus saving his soul from sin, about original sin, right? But all of those things come with a Christian theology, right? So it's like you only really will buy into that if you are Christian or grew up into a Christian society, or what most people do, you just ignore it. And you're just like, wow, this is a good flow. But your thing is more like you give the same advice that Chance does, but you do it without the edifice of organized religion. And again, these are your personal beliefs, so please tell me if I'm reading them wrong at all. But that's why I think the lyrics work, is because they're unique, they're different, but they're important and they matter. And they work with the chorus. And we can work on stuff with the singing and stuff like that. That's mostly just practice and delivery and stuff like that. But that's why I like the lyrics. If we're talking about the poetic content of your lyrics, that's why I think they work. So have I described kind of your goals here in the right way?
A little bit different.
Yeah.
From exactly what was going on when I was writing it, because for me, I mean, this is like the most personal stuff among the most personal stuff that I can get down on paper. Essentially, what it's written about is the divide between where I used to be prior to my injury and where I am now after I broke my neck, and pretty much how you see the world in a different way, because now I can see the world through, like, it's like, how people, I guess you could do a religious aspect by saying, like, I'm injured, you see the world in a different way, and then you have to adapt, because where it's like, lyric about, or was it? Yeah, holding me hostage until I acknowledge the magnitude of divide between my aptitude to reside on the side where my body used to feel pride. Because I was an athlete. I was an athlete. I was a soldier. All that. And then I felt so alive before my swan died. And then it goes on to speaking about, it's like world's ideals about what's ideal is like, at least in Israel right now, it's like to have the perfect body and all that kind of stuff. And then it goes on to, I mean, at least I'm trying to go on to say, that's all bullshit, because if you devote more, like, happiness doesn't come from the...
Yeah.
Most perfect body in the world, but then if you're fucked up in the head, then you're fucked up, right? That's pretty much what it's saying. It's like focus on your mind, not on your...
Okay.
That's what the invade.
Okay, then I think, and that is a great story to tell. It's just, I'm not hearing that in the song. If you want to take that as your feedback. So, like, you're mentioning events and characters, right? So you're mentioning you, maybe your family a little, wherever context your injury happened, like the army or just playing sports. But then you're mentioning you in the past, and you in the present, and you in the future. But like, where are these things in your song? You know, like where is the word injury? Where is the word neck? That's kind of and like you do say like the part with like 6'2" bulging, but it's like I think on this one maybe you've gotten a little too metaphorical, in the poetry. You know,
that's what I was.
Hey, sorry, you broke up. Say
Because
that again.
I wanted it to be something that anybody can relate to. Sorry about that. I was trying not to put like specific events in there, as in like fall down, break my neck, all that type of stuff. I was trying to put it as abstract as possible, so that anybody can pour it in their own context into the lyrics. You know, they can put their own life into the lyrics, as opposed to just that's where I was going with writing down the lyrics.
Okay. It's just, when I give you your lyrics like the eye test, like these are the words that stand out to me. Like soul, corporal, cognition, mind, sublime, chasm, body, divine, Yahweh, Messiah, Jehovah. Oh, sorry, I put that one in there. Yahweh's not in there. Divine, soul, holding me hostage right now is the magnitude, alive, ideal, values, and so this is when, again, like eye test, when those are the words that are most interesting, the longest words, the most important words at the end of sentences. Yeah, I end up at a place that's much different from the story as you've described it. And I like the story I described. It just kind of seems to be right now that you might have two competing purposes. Like to describe your individual story, but in a way so that people can put their own life into it. But then this other one of giving advice for what they should do. And so the first one really is like, it's just a good old-fashioned rap parable. Like, I Used to Love Her by Common. So it kind of seems to be like you're working at cross purposes here. And I think if you really do want to write a song like that, then like they're almost like two different songs, right? Because one of my big things is that every song can only do one thing. It can only talk about one thing. And so the trick is just really honing it down to be like, nope, that's a great idea, and I love it, and I really relate to it, but that's the next song, Yeah. Does that make sense to you now, why I read it the way I did?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It was really important for me, because I showed this to, two really good friends of mine, my brother, and for them, it's like obvious as daylight. Right?
Yeah.
Because they know who I am, right?
Exactly.
But that's why it was really interesting for me and important for me to hear how you see it.
Yeah.
How you read it.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that you need to know how your listeners hear your song, right? It's like you need to be able to put yourself in their shoes. So there are some ways you can do this. You can take a few days off from writing the same song and come back 4 or 5 days later. Recording yourself is really important, and then waiting a little while. Always listening to yourself, always rapping aloud, always recording yourself, even when you're just practicing and doing drafts, or doing your music quicker or slower, because that forces you to understand it in a different way. Yeah, playing it for other people, but this is exactly what I mean when I say, like, you got to know how your listeners hear it too. So yeah, I think that's good though. This is some really good stuff for us to build on next week. So do you want to rework this song like how I've talked about? Because I really think like this is your kind of, B1 equals 41 bars, C1 equals 8 bars, B2 equals 8 bars, C2 equals 8 bars. I think that's your song structure. It's kind of like a, that's your structure. It's just that the A1 is a lot bigger.
Wouldn't that be too small for a B2? I mean, what would be the rationale of doing the B2 at 8 bars instead of doing, let's say, 48, 48, 40.
Yeah. I can. It's that. Well, first off, 48 is just. It's super. To me, it's super blocky. It's super symmetrical. Like I can fold it.
It's not. Okay.
Yeah, and I know that because 96 can be divided by 48, can be divided in 24, into 12, into 6. Like that's just square, to me.
Right.
And plus, the shorter verse 2 equals 8. I did that so we could get back to the chorus quicker. Because if you pull it off, the chorus is really nice. So it's like, and rappers will do this all the time. Will Smith's Jiggy style, getting jiggy with it. I don't know why this is my first touchstone. But, dude, it's like 2.5 minutes. Even all those great Beatle records, Help or whatever, they're all like 2 minutes and lower. Even one is 1.5 minutes. One of their songs of their #1 hits. And they did that because they know how music is consumed. They know that you listen to the same songs over and over. So if you give them just enough to whet their appetite, but so they want to come back, then that's what it is. And then I front load it with 40 bars so that it's a freestyle. So that's so that you pay homage to the freestyle form. And this is what Wyclef did. Because Wyclef rapped 80 bars for verse 1, and then he had an 8-bar intro that was the same 2 lines repeated 4 times, where he's just like 80 bars, 80 scars, and he says it 4 times. But that's a freestyle. But it's just a really cool take on it. Because and I want to make it like a freestyle because it's an unaccompanied rap. You don't have a beat. So and again, this is what I'm saying. To be like, I want you to make it like a freestyle because you have to hear it like your listener. And so by making it like a freestyle, you're communicating to the listener like, yes, I know what a freestyle is. I know what the difference between a freestyle and a verse chorus is. I know what the famous freestyles are. I know what's beef. I know, what's the other one I gave you? 80 bars. But this is my take on it. And that is good
like
music.
Game has 200 bars, I know that.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so we're good? I'll meet you next Thursday at 9?
Definitely. Just out of curiosity, I know our time's up, just wanted to understand. Writing beats and producing beats and all that type of stuff. How big a deal is that? It's huge, right?
Yeah, it is. It is, but and that's why I didn't want to cover it today. But like, there are workarounds. It's just that's an entirely different discussion, and we can get into that. It's just you really kind of got to dive into it. So like, there are people who give beats away for free.
We'll get into that.
Yeah. Do you wanna?
Yeah, I say we go into that down the road because, I think also the more I practice and get better at doing things without a beat, the better I will be on the beat.
Yeah, and that's my whole kind of point. Like, yeah, man, we could spend 30 minutes, but at the end of the day, you won't be making the beat, so it's like that's not really in your wheelhouse, Like, I'll show you how to work with a producer, how to find a beat, and what you want to do. But I'll give you all those skills, but it's just like that's super almost besides the point right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's not where I'm.
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah, that's what
cool.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, I'll talk to you next time, all right, man?
Yeah.
All right, see you. Have a good week.
See ya.
Bye.